Good afternoon. My name is John Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of Resurrection After Exoneration. We represent some 29 exonerated men from the state of Louisiana. When you're battling against a system that if you underqualify or underfunded, it's totally impossible for us to receive a fair hearing, a fair trial, a fair procedures from the moment you was arrested to the moment you've been taken into the courtroom. You deserve proper representation. This is one of the reasons why we are here today, to try to help the Public Defender Office get this message out there loud and clearly that they are very underfunded. They cannot, and totally impossible for them to represent you in a full and effective way. As citizens of Louisiana, as citizens of New Orleans, we should want this on none of our kids or none of our children. We have a state, or we living in a state that lead the nation in incarceration and in prosecuting innocent men. We need to find a way to help the Public Defender Office find a way to be on an even field, on a sharing of information field, sharing technology, sharing experience, to make us a safer and a better place to live in. To sit back and constantly was a victim of the same system, it would be almost hypocritical of me to not come out and try to support, or not come out and try to find a way to support the Public Defender Office in raising these funds.
This is a song I wrote in Angola.
Hi, my name is Sonia Tate Cousins. I'm a public defender in Brooklyn, New York. I've been a public defender for some 30-something years. And yes, it is hard work. It is challenging work. It's frustrating work. But I cannot remember a time in my life when I wanted to do anything else. And it's because I passionately feel that people in marginalized and poor communities are given a raw deal in the public justice system. And we as public defenders have a moral obligation to make sure that our clients are given the best representation possible. And it is difficult, for sure, because we have limited funding. We have bad actors. But it simply means that we have to fight even harder. And we have to come to the fight with the best tools in our toolbox. Because for me anyway, quitting has never been an option. I've tried many trials over the years. And whenever I get ready for trial and I walk into that courtroom, I never think that it's going to be a level playing field. I get surprised occasionally. But for the most part, the deck is stacked against me and my client. And I know that I'm going to have a fight on my hands. I'm going to be fighting with the prosecutor to give me basic information that the law says I am entitled to have. I'm going to be fighting and have fought with judges who think it's their God-given right to become second prosecutors during a trial and to fill in the blanks in the prosecutor's case. I know I'm going to be fighting with bigotry and racism. I know I'm going to be fighting with those in power who think it's okay to trample on the constitutional rights of my clients. And I fight. I don't care about being popular. That's never a consideration when I'm in front of a judge. I don't care about getting along with everybody. That's never a consideration when I'm defending my client. What I do care about is the individual sitting next to me and ensuring that that person has excellent representation. Now, in this fight and in this struggle, we are called upon to do a lot of things as public defenders. And some of that may require working long hours, losing sleep at night, working on weekends. But if that's what it takes to make a difference, that's what it takes. And that is what I do. I have to give 100%. Because if I lose the fight, and I have lost many, I never want it to be because I did not give 100%. And oftentimes, I may lose the fight, but my client sees that I have done the best job I can. And to me, that appreciation and that acknowledgement from the client means to me that I have won the war. We're all out there fighting the good fight. And there are times when I know we want to just give up and throw in the towel. But our clients are counting on us. Keep on fighting, because I know that I am going to do just that. Take care.
From the very beginning, our state and national constitutions and laws have laid great emphasis on procedural and substantive safeguards designed to assure fair trials before impartial tribunals in which every defendant stands equal before the law. This noble ideal cannot be realized if the poor man charged with crime has to face his accusers without a lawyer to assist him. This was said by former Supreme Court Justice Hugo Black more than half a century ago. On March 18, 1963, the United States Supreme Court unanimously agreed that any person hailed into court who is too poor to hire a lawyer cannot be assured a fair trial unless counsel is provided him. This seems to be an obvious truth. Nearly 60 years later, the importance of public defense cannot be denied. I am Derwin Bunton, Chief Public Defender in New Orleans, and I have been a public defender and civil rights advocate my entire career. Public defenders protect innocents, hold power accountable, and fight for the rights of our clients and community. Every day we stand in the way of abuses of power, of doubt, and injustice. We advocate for our clients' needs, uphold the Constitution, and seek to create stronger, healthier, more just communities for all of us. We ensure our clients are heard and supported, are valued and fought for. We fight to maintain our clients' dignity, ensure justice is not trampled, and hope persists. Justice Black declared, "Lawyers in criminal courts are necessities, not luxuries. The right to one charged with crime to counsel may not be deemed fundamental and essential to fair trials in some countries, but it is in ours."
Es difícil empezar desde cero en un nuevo país. Venir a un nuevo lugar, una nueva comunidad, aprender un nuevo idioma, una nueva manera de vivir, donde no sabemos todas las leyes y todos nuestros derechos. Como inmigrantes, eso es lo que hacemos cuando venimos a los Estados Unidos. No importa de dónde vengas, empezar desde nuevo. Y cuando empiezas, no sabes todas las leyes y no sabes todos tus derechos. Y es muy importante que sepas que aquí, en los Estados Unidos, gracias a la decisión unánime de la Corte Suprema, Gideon versus Wainwright, tú tienes derecho a acceso a un abogado de defensa en caso de que lo necesites. Porque la Corte se da cuenta que no puede hacer su trabajo si tú no puedes presentar su caso. Así que hoy estamos aquí celebrando esa decisión que fue tomada para poder ayudar a nuestra comunidad y a muchas comunidades que están afuera. Es importante que todos sepan que tienes el derecho y acceso a tener un abogado de defensa si algún día lo necesitas. It's hard enough to come to this country and start over and start from scratch, not knowing the language, not knowing the systems, the processes, all to begin a new way of life. And a lot of us, especially members of the immigrant community and those who are undocumented, don't know all of the rules, the laws, and the rights that we have when we come to this country. That's why today it's really important to recognize and commemorate that the Supreme Court unanimously passed a law in recognizing that you have the right to a defense lawyer in order to be able to present your case. So today we are here commemorating Gideon versus Wainwright because we know and understand the importance of people being able to bring their case forward with legal representation. And so we are here commemorating that today.
Tekan. Takung. Tekan, kung. Pakai kangkung, kung, kung. Tang, 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 tung. Kung, pa. Kung, pa. Tekan, kung, kung, kung. Popo, popo. Tekan, ka. Kang, kang, kung, kung, kang, kang. Kang, kang, kung, kung, kang, kung, kung, kang, kang, kung, kung.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Marquez, Stinson, and O'Farrell trio.
Hello, I'm Lou Deckmar, Police Chief for the City of LaGrange, Georgia. The critical importance of legal representation was acknowledged by the United States Supreme Court in the case of Gideon versus Wainwright 59 years ago. I want to join my colleagues in the criminal justice system in recognizing this important occasion. As a police professional who's had the opportunity to serve as president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and as a commissioner and as chair of the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, I know there is deep respect by the police profession across the country for our constitutional protections, particularly the ones afforded to those accused of committing a crime, and the importance of being represented by legal counsel. Law enforcement leaders develop policies to govern the conduct of our officers in a variety of situations. Those policies are informed by our Constitution and decisions rendered by the United States Supreme Court. To ensure our officers apply agency policies in dealing with those accused of crimes, training on those policies are a requirement in every police academy and in every police department across the nation. And police supervisors provide oversight to ensure those policies are followed and the rights of the accused are protected. In our system of justice, after we have discharged our duties to the best of our ability, we count on the court system to fairly assess the charges made against all individuals. As we look across the world, what distinguishes our nation from so many others are the constitutional protections afforded our citizens. The 59th anniversary of the Gideon decision reminds us of all those rights, but particularly the rights to an attorney when standing trial and confronted with a criminal charge. As one that has served in law enforcement for 45 years, from police officer to police chief, I'm pleased to join you in celebrating the Gideon decision and our United States Constitution.
Hi. My name is Seth Marowitz. I was 58 when I was arrested for the first time and only time in my life on December 16th in 2015 in Jacksonville, Florida. As I came off the highway that night, I drove over the white line on the right side of the road as coming around a curve, exiting the highway. A police car pulled me over. I was handcuffed, put in the back of a patrol car based on the officer's contention that I was driving under the influence. He then drove me to the local jail where I was given a breath test for alcohol and a urine test for other drugs. The breath test showed that I was well under the legal limit for alcohol in my blood, but that didn't seem to matter, and I had no idea what to do. It would be 3 months before the results from the urine test came back clear. I did not have the opportunity to retain and consult with my attorney until after I was released from jail on $2,500 bond the following evening. My MIT education had clearly not prepared me at all for how to engage with the criminal justice system in America. After the alcohol test, I changed into an orange jumpsuit and was required to pay $20 for a document with the rules of the local lockup, and then placed in a room with about a dozen other men. Several had advice for me on how to handle the situation. Don't say anything to anybody and plead no contest, otherwise you'll never get out of here. I was incredulous. I wasn't guilty, so no way was I going to plead no contest. The following morning, I was walked into court with other prisoners in manacles and orange jumpsuits. As I recall, I received another sheet of paper from the court giving me the opportunity to plead guilty in exchange for release that day with loss of my driver's license and enrollment in the DUI program. Finally, when it came my turn before the judge, I pleaded not guilty and was then told that bail was set at $2,500. Since I had no access to my phone, checking account, or credit cards, I didn't know how I even would put up bail if it were not for the fact that my business partner came to the arraignment that morning and then later that day put up the bail on my behalf, and I paid him back afterwards. I was finally released about 6 that evening. 3 months later, after $3,500 in attorney fees and $2,500 in bail payments, all charges were finally dropped. Though you can still find me on mugshot.com, arrested for DUI on December 15, 2015. For me, the ordeal was unpleasant, unnerving, disorienting. But I was among the lucky ones who could post bail and retain competent counsel eventually. I can't help but wonder what happens to others who lack the means or support network to help them deal with the criminal justice system. I suspect many simply plead guilty for the crimes they are innocent because they didn't have a chance to talk with counsel, or because that is the only way they think they will be released. Constitutional right to counsel is a fundamental right that no one in America should ever be denied of. I was a financially well-off software executive with a master's degree at from MIT at the time I was arrested, and I was most certainly unprepared for my brush with the system. How many poor or poorly informed people in America are denied of this same basic right every day? Thank you.
According to title, yeah. Because in the title, the key is there to the organization that the statement is directed to. Now, there's at least 8 or 10 organizations that you can direct it to if you're that hip. But the one that I'm dedicating it to, you'll only figure it out if you think like I think. To think like I think, you got to like what I like. Yeah. I don't like what you think I like. I love that. I don't hate what you think I hate. I love that. Also, because love ain't nothing but hate turned around. That's all it is. It's all the same thing. You know, things that are the opposite, they're the same thing. Because they're both the direct opposite of each other. Now, does that reach you? You know, the trouble with the world today is that everybody thinks that we should sing. We should sing. There's a record out by Joe Jones that came out a long time ago, say you talk too much. That's a whole lot of BS. Baloney sausage. It's no such thing as talking too much. When you think you done talk too much, you just talked enough. You haven't talked enough. When you talk too much, you get hoarse. My voice sounds clear. So it means I should talk more. It means I should talk until I get hoarse. That's when I've talked too much. You know, the world needs more love. What's that girl's name said? What the world needs now is love, sweet love, whatever her name is. She told the truth. Because the thing that stops us from getting enough love is when we get a little bit of love, we think we done had too much of it. We ain't had too much of it. We just had enough of it to make us want some more of it. Don't you think that's true? Yeah, we're gonna settle it out. Like Lattimore say, say, we're going to straighten it out tonight. This is a good night to say, let's straighten it out. That's right. I'm tired. I'm tired of them Watergate cover-ups. I done did some better cover-ups than Richard Nixon ever thought about doing. Yeah, I did it. Put a charge on me. Put whatever you want to put on me. Because as long as I don't make the kind of money that Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra and all the rest of my fellow Sagittarians make, I feel like I've been cheated out of something. Yeah, that's all. No, that's not all. That's not the half of it. I feel like the world, the whole wide world has been cheated. Now don't tell me but I'm singing too much. Don't tell me I'm talking too much. I'm not singing enough. I'm not talking enough. I'm just getting to the point where I'm honest enough to be honest with everybody else. Now you gonna tell me I'm singing too much? The hell with you. Don't tell me I'm talking too much. I'm just beginning to say the right things. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear it. You didn't want to hear what I had to say? So don't put all them goddamn notes in front of my face and tell me about I'm singing too much or I'm talking too much. I'm just beginning.
Hello, my name is Jay Blitzman, and I am pleased to talk to you today about the importance of Gideon versus Wainwright. I was a public defender for 20 years, having founded and directed the Roxbury Youth Advocacy Project, which became the basis for creating Massachusetts' juvenile defender system. I later served as a juvenile court judge for 24 years, so I think I could speak about this issue from multiple perspectives. 60 years ago, Gideon established the right to counsel for indigent criminal defendants and was heralded as a significant advance in establishing equal access to justice and constitutional rights for all. Over 60 years later, however, the landscape is a much more complicated one, and serious questions have been raised as to whether Gideon's full due process potential has ever been realized. The past 60 years has shown, unfortunately, a pattern of defiance and resistance manifested by underfunded state legislative initiatives regarding indigent defense systems in both the juvenile and criminal contexts. In addition, case law has done little to redress the dramatic racial and ethnic disparities that plague our criminal justice system. Many commentators have observed that in spite of some advances in civil rights, the system least affected has been the criminal justice system. 4 years after Gideon versus Wainwright and In re Galt, the constitutional right to counsel was extended for indigent juvenile defendants. However, that right only applied to the bench trial. As a result, Gideon's promise of due process remains unfulfilled in the juvenile context as well, as today each state designs the contours of its own juvenile justice system. Many states do not address the right to counsel at bail, detention, transfer hearing determinations, or disposition other than by state rule or criminal code. In addition, as the National Juvenile Defender Center reported in 2017, it's an open secret that countless numbers of juveniles behind closed juvenile court doors are adjudicated and sentenced without ever seeing an attorney. So yes, we've made some progress. It's a long time since Clarence Earl Gideon hand-wrote a note in a Florida jail, which became his habeas corpus petition. But there is an awful long way to go if we are to ever fully realize the due process potential of Gideon versus Wainwright and In re Galt. Thank you.
The 18th annual production of a cultural education play based on the Harlem Renaissance will take place in the South End February 28th and March 1st. The full title is Harlem Renaissance Revisited with a Gospel Flavor. Our guests are the creator, Hayward Fennell Sr., and a member of the cast, Sky Forts. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll start with Hayward Fennell. You're from Harlem, but tell me how this got started.
Well, I've always been interested in history. And I was living one of South End, the Pine Street Inn shelters at the time that I wrote an outline for a script. and had some friends read it and get interested in it, and we performed it 17, this year will be 18 years ago, and our first stage was improv at the American Legion Post on Blue Hill Avenue.
Now, one of the reasons you're doing this is that maybe for quite a long time, many people in this country didn't even know there was a Harlem Renaissance and didn't know how important it was.
Right. You know, the social barriers that were faced by the folks back during that era are still here today. And it shows what can happen when you have some unity, some love, some respect for each other, especially for the talents, you know, to encourage them to don't allow these barriers, skin color, racism, or whatever to stop you, you know, and that's what they did, you know, and they became very famous. People like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, Duke Ellington, Conte Claude McKay. So many people became icons, if you will, in the arts.
As far as the writers, Sky, why were they important to you?
Well, I feel like the history was always important to me. And I also remember in rehearsal, Mr. Haywood had said, if you go up to like 4 people in my school and ask them, name at least 5 people in the Harlem Renaissance, and they wouldn't answer because it feels like they don't teach it enough in school, and I think they should start teaching it too. And also, I'm a poem writer, like I write poetry. And in
you can show us the title page of your book here.
Show it to
this is.
I wrote, poetry is my life.
So that could mean a couple of things. Why do you say poetry is your life?
Because I think poetry is my life because I feel like I'm good at it. I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I know that I can write poetry. I actually wrote one.
You want to read it?
Yeah.
Sure.
I wrote a poem called Rain, and it says, whoosh, as I look out the window, I see a big round puddle. I just want to stay in with my mom and cuddle. Whoosh, kaplish, rish, I hear the cars drive by. Whoosh, kaplish, rish, and I ask why. I look to the sky, and there were dark clouds. The sound of thunder was oh so loud. The thunder was so loud, I thought I would go insane. But when I looked at the puddle, I saw it was only rain. Rain comes from the sky, and sky is my name. Rain must be beautiful. I will never look at rain the same.
Haywood, this is also, your production here is about making people look at things differently, but it's also a learning adventure, whether it's for Sky or for yourself.
Right, yes, definitely. You know, this year we have a really exceptional cast of folks, you know, some professionals, some educators, and we share a lot, you know, and our goal is to have a performance company as well as a theater teaching company and use the American history as our source material. And we find that our schools today are not as forceful with teaching American history as they should be. You know, so we think it's very important that we invest time in teaching them about themselves, so once they know who they are, they can pretty much figure out some better options.
Sky, not only are you a writer, but you're going to be in this production as a singer, so maybe you can share a little bit of what you're going to be doing?
I'm going to be singing At Last, a little piece of At Last by Etta James. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song. Oh, yeah. At last.
Hello, my name is Haywood Fennell, Sr., and I am a Boston resident now and the founder of the Stanley Jones Clean Slate Project, which is a think tank process for ex-offenders getting justice. One of the things that is so very important about this project that I am involved in is the need to understand criminal justice and how it relates to having a good lawyer. Gideon versus Wainwright was a case that a poor man who knew that he couldn't beat the system unless he had a lawyer. And that's what he did. He fought and he fought until the Supreme Court agreed with him that everybody coming into the criminal justice system should have an attorney, a good attorney, one that understands the circumstances, etc., and is able to articulate what it is that this man is facing. Public defenders step in and they do so much for those that cannot afford a paid lawyer. They go all the way. And that is why I am involved as I am in the Stanley Jones Clean Slate Project, because we want all of our people in our community to understand that justice is not blind if you do not have an attorney. Public defenders play that role and they play it well. Support public offenders, support people having the education to be empowered to understand that before you go in and do the rumble, you got to have a strategy that includes your lawyer. The other thing is that once you get fingerprinted, for instance, in the state of Massachusetts, you are going to be welcome to the Corey Club, Criminal Offenders Records Information, commonly called the Corey Law. And that is what we are working on, to reform the law, change the law, because it paralyzes you when you come out into the society if you go to jail. But if you don't go to jail and you're on probation and you got fingerprinted, you will have one of the most strenuous times of getting a job, of getting an education, of getting a place to stay, because this record does not go away. Please be mindful, learn the law. And if you get involved in the law, remember, Corey is a sad story. And if you don't have a good lawyer, one that is going to protect your rights, then you got to be ready to fight.
First and foremost, I'm completely honored to be a part of such an amazing cause. The call for action is so very, very important for this to be on a platform, because it's been centuries this has been slept on, and now, especially right now, when you have so many people being murdered in the street, so many people serving time that's innocent, you have more and more people that's it's being brought to the attention that they've been serving 10, 20, 30, 40 years for crimes they didn't commit, because at that time period they definitely did not have adequate funding to get attorneys to fight for their freedom. I would talk with friends about it because it just seems so stupid, and I can't think of no other word other than stupid, that one side of the system to prosecute you can receive so much funding to get forensics, to get investigators, to pay for detectives, to pay for witnesses, to do everything to prosecute a person, innocent or not, to build the case on somebody. I have a strong issues with people that are guilty. If you're guilty, you're guilty, but the truth is always going to come to light. But it's hard for the truth to come to light when you're innocent and you have all the things stacked up against you for as on the prosecutor side, and they have all this funding to actually put you in jail. And not only that, because of the way the system is set up, they say you're innocent until you're proven guilty, but in actuality, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. Because you would sit in jail for a long period of time if you don't even have an attorney to get you out of jail to wait for your court date. So there's hundreds, even thousands of people sitting in jail who don't belong there, and I had to go back to, the beginning of that cycle. Why is that cycle so stuck in American culture? Why is that cycle so stuck here in Louisiana, being one of the top places that innocent people serve time, the top places that so many people, all our prisons are overpopulated. And all I could think of is modern day slavery. I know it's a harsh thing to say, but, people of poverty built this country. We was forced to, try to eat off the land and eat the scraps. We was forced to do everything for free, as slaves. And when slavery was abolished and we were supposed to be, people of color were supposed to be free, they still had to find a way to maintain that manpower. And what better way to maintain that manpower is to create the prison system. And what better way to keep the prison system full is to keep funds adequate enough to keep prosecuting people and keep people of poverty in there. It's always the rich and poor. It's not just a black and white thing. Unfortunately, the people of color community, most of the community of poverty, but it's still a rich and poor thing. And the rich don't want their nephews and their nieces and their cousins and their uncles and their fathers and mothers and daughters. They don't want them to do the work for free. They want to keep their kids ready to be the sharecroppers, to be the ones that's owning the land. And what better way to keep, and they're the attorneys. They're the attorneys, they're the judges, they're the Supreme Court, Congress, House of Representatives. These are those people that are calling the shots for people that don't have the funding to sometimes not even able to get a great education, and the cycle, it continues. And it's sad that it took this long for a call of action to bring this to attention. Let's say I leave here today or tomorrow and I get stopped by the police. Really, I have no rights already. The police can say anything because it's going to always be their word against mine. They can say I resisted arrest because all they wanted to do is just ask me to step out the car to show me that my tail light is out, and I could have a perfectly good tail light, and I can go to jail. And it'll always be my word against theirs. And because I'm a musician, I really cannot afford an attorney, unfortunately. I will sit in jail and have to wait until I can get a court date just to tell my side of the story. And the way the fraternity of the judicial system is set up, because it's a fraternity, they stick together, the police and the judges and the attorneys, the DA, and, they all stick together. The way it's set up, I can be telling the truth. I can be completely honest about how I got stopped and how I went to jail, but because I don't have the right type of attorney to talk for me on my behalf, who wasn't even there, that's just going to take my word for it. If I don't have the correct attorney to get me out of jail, I'm going to jail for a certain amount of time for resisting arrest. Away from my community, away from my family, away from my kids, away from the community that I work and strive so hard for to help develop. And if those people are not in a community to help develop it, it's going to fall to the wayside. And who is going to teach the youth to stand for something and fall for nothing? Who's going to do that? And it's going to continue the cycle. So I hope this concert is the first of many. I hope more musicians, more corporate sponsors, I hope more nonprofit organizations, I hope more people bring the issue to light and don't sleep on this, because our future is in dire need right now. I mean, our kids, I pray my son don't have to see the things that's going on right now. But it sickens me as a mother that sometimes as an individual I feel helpless. Like it hasn't changed in 400 years, so how would it change in the next 10? So please, whatever you can do as individuals, organizations, organize, get people together, donate to your the public defender's office, innocent projects, and talk to your legislators. Talk to them, call them, email them, blow their phones up, because we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared. So continue to support concerts of indigent defense. Thank you. My name is Zena Moses. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Anthony Graves, and I'm here to talk to you about indigent defense. I think that's what they call it, indigent defense. Me, I don't believe so much in indigent defense, although we need it. I am a firm believer now in public defenders, and that's the difference, right? So I was wrongfully convicted. I spent 18 and a half years on Texas. Well, I spent 18 and a half years in prison. 12 and a half of those years were on Texas death row for a crime I knew absolutely nothing about, right? And my attorney that represented me, he hadn't been out of law school no more than 3 years. Never even tried a capital case, but he was an indigent defendant, okay? And he was appointed to my case. Needless to say, I lost 18 and a half years of my life, right? Not because he didn't believe in me, because he did, but he was very limited in the experience and just his way around the courtroom. And that harmed me, his client, who, as an attorney, you put first. So indigent defenders don't really get the resources that they need to represent their client as effectively as they can. However, public defenders, here's the difference. Public defenders work as a team. Anytime you get a public defender on your case, they come out of an office that has a lot of other attorneys working on that case with them. I know that. I'm an exoneree, and I now work at the public defender's office. And I can tell you for a fact that public defenders are prepared better than any private attorney, any court-appointed attorney, or indigent defense that you can think of, because I see them. They come together as a team and they discuss their cases, and they have case reviews, and they have a lot of CLEs, and they're always practicing it and working on the case, and I get to witness this firsthand, and I'm here to tell you that public defenders are what we need in this country today, okay? We need public defenders representing more indigent people. We don't need indigent defense. We need public defenders representing indigent people. And I think if we get there, then, later on in life or down the line, you don't have to worry about your son or your daughter ending up in a situation that I was once in. wrongfully convicted, witnessing over 400 executions around me. Had 2 execution dates myself. All for a crime I knew absolutely nothing about. And because I had an inexperienced attorney, I was the indigent defender. I needed a public defender that could have represented me much better than an indigent defender. So I'm here to say to you that get behind public defenders. Demand to be represented by public defenders. They get paid a salary so they don't have to just run through the wheel to try to get the next case. They can actually take their time to work on the case. Okay? Indigent defenders, court-appointed attorneys, they have to keep up with their wheel if they're going to get appointed another case. And then they don't get a lot of money to represent you. In the public defender's office, they have their own experts. They have their own investigators. They work as a team. You can't miss, man. You can't miss. And their experience. So public defenders is the way to go. That is it. Public defenders. Represent indigent people. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis in Houston. I'm honored to be with you today to celebrate the U.S. Supreme Court decision in Gideon versus Wainwright. The majority decision in Gideon states it is an obvious truth that any person hauled into court who is too poor to hire a lawyer cannot be assured a fair trial unless counsel is provided for them. Governments, both state and federal, spend vast sums of money to establish machinery to try defendants accused of the crime. Prosecutors are everywhere and deemed essential to protect public safety. In an adversarial system, defense lawyers are just as essential. They're necessities, not luxuries. Our courts are not just unless we place the defense on equal footing with the prosecution. That's why I fought hard to pass the Fair Defense Act during my time in the Texas Senate, and why I worked to improve the public defense system as a commissioner in the 3rd largest county in the United States of America. We've made tremendous progress in recent years in Harris County, and we have more work to do. We've expanded our public defender office from 54 employees in its first decade to 222. We now have public defenders representing clients at bail hearings, at trials, on appeals, and even in writ proceedings where necessary. A new managed assigned counsel office is providing support and resources to members of the private bar. This makes the appointment process independent of the judiciary. Soon, client-centered holistic representation will be available to any person who has contact with our criminal legal system. Our legal system only works if everyone has quality representation, and if we can trust that the outcomes are just as fair for a person with millions of dollars as it is for someone with not a penny in their bank account. I'm proud to support investments in the expansion of quality indigent defense throughout the country. I'm also proud of the work you public defenders are doing. Thank you for the work that you do as defenders. You protect the public just as much as everyone else. Enjoy the concert.
Imagine being arrested for crimes you had nothing to do with. Imagine sitting in jail without the ability to buy your freedom. Imagine sitting alone at the defense table while the judge sentenced you to decades in prison for crimes you did not commit. My name is Robert Jones, and this is what happened to me. I was wrongfully convicted and spent 23 years, 7 months, and 2 days in prison for crimes I did not commit. This is why every day I fight to make sure that this does not happen to anyone else. We as public defenders not only represent our clients, we see them as human beings. We believe in them, we support them, and we fight like hell for our community. Imagine a world without public defenders.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can we have another hand for the wonderful musicians, please? last night, Miss McCabe and her group did this song, and we have to do it again tonight because it's a great song. It's called I Shall Be Released. They say that everything can be replaced. Hey, they say that every distance is not near. So I swear I remember every face of everybody who put me here. I see my light come shining, yeah, from the west down to the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. See, every man needs protection. Say everybody must fall. Sorry. So I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above these walls. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. You understand the man in this lonely crowd, man who says he's not to blame. Can't you hear him? Can't you hear him? Can't you hear him?